Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. This is a huge one. This is PadSplit. I mean, this is like the new Airbnb on steroids, right? So I'm excited about it. As a real estate, agent, I've been doing this for people that don't know for over 25 years, work with a ton of investors. So I'm really excited for this topic. But yeah, welcome. People are starting to file in here. So people that don't know me, I'm Ryan Poole. Not only I'm co-host of the show, I'm also a realtor. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 25 years, and also the founder of RealTrade, which is an online marketplace and social media platform for real estate agents and service providers and buyers and sellers. Proud to say now we have over 3,300 active agents using the platform. And we provide the great content from the show as one of the core features of RealTrade, which is awesome. But excited for this one, Jim. This is like I was just saying here while you're away, PadSplit's up and coming. It's a great tool for agents to be aware of, especially if they do have investors, or just to be aware of maybe some properties that you're going to be bidding against where PadSplit investors are looking at. So it's a great topic, Jim, and excited to co-host this one with you.
I'm really looking forward to this show. There's so many cool things going on in this space. I mean, among other things, we got a packed show on a couple of other topics prior to us getting into Pad Split, and I want to go over them for a quick second,
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of minutes, because my goal for this show is to give you guys content you won't find anyplace else, right? Everybody's doing content, everybody has an opinion, but I want to blend the rules, what's happening in the workplace, and figure out ways to make money from it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about commissions. And if you guys can spend less time on the rules and more time on commissions, everybody benefits, including myself, right? This is all self-serving, but it's strengthening the industry. And the reality is everybody calls me for questions and there's no bad questions, and everybody starts out their question the same way. They text me at 11 o'clock on a Friday night. I'm sorry to take up your time, but I'm still with this seller and we have a this. And those texts are valuable to me because they turn into really good material for future shows and the stuff that we're doing together. And as part of what we're doing together, I have something what I call Tales from the Street, which are things that I've received from agents during the course of the week. Let's see, podcast. So I have a couple of things I want to go into before we launch into the main show. We have guests today. We have Alex Giassa. He's a real estate agent doing pad split deals regularly. We have Audrey McClintock. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And Audrey is the area rep for PadSplit, and she is here to explain to us the business dynamics. And by the time we're done, we're going to have a general overview of the business landscape for PadSplit deals. And then next week, we'll do another PadSplit show where I'm going to break down where agents can get a general knowledge of the existing rules. So when you're talking to your clients, you have a fundamental knowledge of how the thing operates. So today is unpacking the business elements of PadSplit and some practical perspectives that I've had over the years and how the laws are changing. Next week is going to be unpacking the ordinances, state laws, and things like that. It'll be a little bit more technical show. Today's an overview. Next week will be a micro. It'll be a drilling down on the rules issue. But then I'm also going to give you content. So through our discussions with Audrey and Alex, I'm going to generate some content so you guys can do what we've done in the past with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and just copy and paste that stuff, stay top of mind to your buyers and sellers, and be the person that they want to have their value proposition parked with. I want to mention a couple things. Let's see. Share. Bam. I apologize if I'm a little off my game. I had some last minute technical issues.
It happens, Jim.
Here is the outline for today. You guys don't have to take notes along the way. We're going to go over this stuff.
Can you share the outline in the chat, Jim?
Yep.
Just copy and paste, put it right in the chat so people can follow along if needed.
What I'm going to do, Ryan, is I'm just going to text it to you. And if you could do that, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I'll put it in there.
'Cause it's in a couple different machines. Pad split, part one.
I'm so excited for the show. I mean,
All right. So today is September 23rd, 2025. This is part one of a two-part show. Today we'll interview the pad split rep and an agent doing pad split deals. Next show, we'll deep dive into the rules and I'll provide you some marketing content and you can demonstrate your pad split knowledge. We have a packed show. First, we're going to tackle tales from the street, stuff I'm seeing agents contact me about repetitively, some recent massive turn of events in the legal world. I spent so much time just drilling down on the recent turn of events I'm going to go into in a minute. Like we talk about tip of the iceberg situations. This is the tip of the iceberg, you guys. We thought sits or nar lawsuits were revolutionary. This is just the beginning of a massive change in real estate. RealTrade is the perfect tool
thanks,
you
Jim.
guys to lever your positions. But when I tell you what I know about what's going on, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there are major shifts afoot and platforms like RealTrade, PadSplit, stuff that's not the contemporary model. That's the stuff that's going to be the big beneficiary. And there's one company that's the agent of change, and we're going to talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, no, we're doing a big blog here on the whole new Zillow, lawsuit and what's happening. It's actually pretty exciting stuff, but let's keep going.
All right. And again, my goal is to provide you the content you won't hear anyplace else, sharpen your edge, and help you make money. You can listen to anybody on the web. I want you to listen to me because the stuff I provide to you is so unique. The laws are always changing. You can text me 24/7. I don't care if I'm the title agent or not, or I'm an attorney in your deal or not. Just text me and we'll figure out what your issue is. I am terrible at email. I apologize ahead of time. If you text me though, you will get attended. And if you email me something, just send me a text on the side. If you like the way we work in paragraph 20, regardless of who's paying for title, write the title agent as New Path Title. I'm happy to close for you guys. If you're representing buyers in a county that's typically a seller pay county, call us out as the title agent. The seller can still pay. Don't shift the cost, and we'll be the closing agent for your buyer at the seller's expense. And I want to make sure, I saw this again last week. Everybody knows the difference between an escrow agent and a closing agent. Escrow agent is a defined term. It's just the person that holds the money. Closing agent is the one that actually closes the deal. And I talked to another agent last week in a many, many $1 million deal, and they were insisting to me that whoever you write in that top paragraph is the closing agent. And that's not the case. All right. Four tales from the street. These two of these are tales stuff we talked about last week. I want to go over it really quickly. If it's too fast for anybody, just pause me. We got a big show today, but I want to throw it out there because I saw two agents call me again about this exact issue. And we talked about it last week. It's not a big deal. I don't mind going over stuff, over and over, because the goal is we sharpen everybody's sword and everybody's a little sharper, and that just saves calories. It's all about cutting off issues before they come to fruition. And so there's a new condo rider, and there's some provisions in there. And I just want to say globally, under the old condo rider, throw out all those preconceived notions about how you did business. The only thing that matters under the new condo rider is that you understand that the seller is liable for everything up to the effective date if you make the two elections that put the burden on the seller. But you have to make the two elections. If you don't, the buyer could be liable for any special assessments that are levied in between the effective date and the closing date. It's simple, but I saw a couple of agents get hung up on that and unhappy. I got texts, I wasn't the closing agent, but I got texts from agents that got hung up on that. And when I explained it to them, they really felt bad. And so I don't want to see you guys in that position. It's really a simple form to follow. The Florida legislature and the Florida Bar and the Florida Association of Realtors, for the first time in the history of me doing this stuff, really did a good job on the form, and it only takes 2 seconds to read it and understand it. We talked about this last week also. And then I saw it in application when an agent texted me. A seller is not liable for the utility bills of a buyer, of a tenant. A seller is not liable for the utility bills of a tenant. If the tenant runs up the utilities, under Florida law, under the statute, they can't put that bill on the settlement statement. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. And sure enough, I had some agents calling me about it, and they saw it on settlement statements. And I had another agent that texted me and said, somebody said you said something on your show about utility bills. What was it? If the tenant runs up the utilities and the seller goes to sell, that utility bill can't show up on the settlement statement as a burden of the seller by law. All right. This is the third one we're going to talk about. I just saw a big case, and we did some legal work in the office, and I saw an agent get sued. Be careful what you tell your clients about the new Homeowners Association Bill of Rights. So about a year ago, we did a show. We're going really fast, you guys, today. It's like drinking from a fire hose. I know, I'm sorry. A year ago, we did, and we're all over the place. A year ago, we did a show and we were talking about the new laws affecting homeowners associations regarding parking. So under the new law, House Bill 1203, effective July 24th, I'm going to go into some of the nuances, but just generally speaking, that was the prohibition for associations to regulate against homeowners associations rules on commercial parking and commercial trucks and commercial vehicles in a homeowners association. Like it or hate it, that was the rule that was passed down a year ago. I want to stress to you guys, this is the biggie that I saw happening a couple times recently, and one of them to a good friend of mine, and they got advice from a real estate agent that told them the wrong thing. This rule does not apply to condominiums. If you're in a condominium that's nested in a homeowners association, this rule does not apply. Like, there's so many legit nuances around this rule. You have to make sure you're giving your clients the right advice. And so this rule only applies to homeowners associations that are standalones that aren't governed by other rules. And if you're in a condominium association and you have that general rule for the homeowners association, it may or may not apply. So you have to be very careful. And there's associations that are nested 3 deep, one of them on PGA, that I see potentially having problems regarding this rule. So nested associations is the topic that I want to talk about generally, but the specific rule that I want you guys to remember is that the prohibition on commercial traffic in homeowners associations only applies to homeowners associations. And there are still tons of homeowners associations that are not following the rule. So you as the agent, you're trying to make a sale, you got to know the rule so you can advise your client properly. I gave you guys a brief bullet point list of what the rules were that were enacted a year ago. They can no longer ban homeowners or their invited guests from parking personal vehicles, including pickup trucks in their driveways or any other area where they have the legal right to park. There's a distinction between homeowners associations that have private streets and homeowners associations that have public streets, and some nuances to the rule there. and I know we're getting granular, you guys, and I don't expect you to know the rules, but this is the stuff you just need to know that there's an issue. If you know there's an issue, we can help you with the rules. If you don't know there's an issue, you're just flying blind, and that's what I call the dangerous agent, giving advice and opening themselves up. Um, Homeowners associations cannot prohibit parking of personal business or first responder vehicles. Commercial vehicles are defined as weighing more than 26,000 pounds or having more than two axles. Most monster SUVs are well under 6,000 pounds, and the smallest trucks I've seen with more than two axles are tow trucks. HOAs cannot require homeowners choose their vendors from a preferred vendor. There's a couple of other rules in there, but the main one I wanted to drill down today was the parking rules. So the HOAs ban on parking commercial vehicles for residents and guests of residents no longer applies. Ryan, I see you sighing. Is there something that's striking close to home or no?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is good stuff. Good stuff.
NAR, and then here's the biggie, you guys. There's like so many multiple topics under this, and I'm trying to keep this short. So we're going to unpack this piece of luggage over the next few shows. The NAR lawsuit lawyers are suing Zillow over the Flex program. I think that lawsuit was just filed Friday.
Yep.
Compass buys anywhere real estate, Compass private exclusives, and what I call the Compass quiet takeover. I don't want to sound offensive to any non-Compass agents. My goal, I know this is controversial, but I'm willing to let it hang out there. My goal is that you guys understand multiple perspectives on complex issues, right? So we want to look at all these things as like independent events, but I would proffer to you guys they're not, right? This is a long-term situation by monster players in a chess game beyond our comprehension. Doesn't mean we can't make money in the meantime, and we're gonna beat everybody at their own game because we're agile and we're small and we're gonna pivot and we're gonna figure out how to turn this into money for us. But this is the playing field that I see. Compass buys anywhere real estate, biggest residential real estate brokerage consolidation in the history of brokerage. Pause, full stop. Huge. It's going to close tentatively in the fall of 2026. And then this thrusts Compass into full force, a global real estate agency. It's going to close the fall of 2026. It boosts the value of Compass from roughly 4 billion to 10 billion. Anywhere owns brands like Century 21, Sotheby's International, Caldwell, and Corcoran. There's others. Again, this is not a pump wind in the sails of Compass. This is just know what's going on in the world, agents. Compass leapfrogs hard into all 50 states now across multiple price points and globally. With this one deal, we'll close and they'll be under control, close to 500,000 agents. And don't think this has not been coming for a long time. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm dating myself, but back in 2017, 2018, Compass had their 2020 program. 2020 was they were going to be the top agent in 20 markets by the end of 2020. Compass went out and paid brokerages substantial money, paid to the brokers substantial money to acquire the local brands. SoftBank invested close to $1 billion, and they also invested in digital platforms. If you look at their returns on the investment in digital platforms, it hasn't been as lucrative as their investment in Compass. And so that's called hedging your bets. And now they're doubling down or they doubled down on Compass and now it's paying off. But this is my point in telling you all this is a long-term scheme. This is a long-term play and slow moving in the background. And if you want to know more about it, just let me know. But this is the stuff that gets me excited and keeps me up at night. And then layer on top of that, right? So you got Compass buying anywhere. Now you layer on top of that, last week, Sitzer lawyers are suing Zillow. NAR lawyers, the lawyers that sued NAR are now suing Zillow. Same group of lawyers that sued the National Association of Realtors. They're suing over the principal issue is the Flex program. The principal claim is the buyers didn't understand what they were buying, artificially drove up prices. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. The principal combined with Zillow's new listing standards rules where home buyers have to post on Zillow immediately or be banned, a judge may not be looking so favorably at Zillow. In my mind, this is my perspective. This is just me talking to you guys and leading with my chin on my opinion. I don't think that looks so good for Zillow. But I don't understand why a private company can't have their own rules if you want to play on their platform. Like that's the tension, right? We're not talking about government services or things to which the public has a right of access or something like that. We're talking about a private company. And so from my perspective, if you want to have your own rules, you can make your own rules. But they've got the NAR lawyers, I call them the NAR lawyers. Everybody knows who they were. We played some of their videos on the pod and we've listened to some of their sound bites. I mean, these men and women are driven by one thing, and that's legal fees. There's also an undercurrent in the background, but I don't understand why a private company can't have their own rules, first of all. And I don't understand, I didn't put it in here. Oh, here it is right here. I don't understand why regardless of what you post on your website that may or may not be misleading, why does not the buyer's brokerage agreement sanitize Zillow in that respect? So regardless of how buyers thought they might have been misled because it said contact agent and the buyers they polled said, oh, we thought we were calling a listing agent.
Yeah.
When you sign the BBA, that's clearly saying what you're paying. So why doesn't that fix everything?
Yeah, no, let me chime in on this because this is right at the heart of RealTrade.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
we're trying to do here, Jim, is what I think how they're going to get sued here is through Zillow, through their Flex Agent program where they get a 40% referral fee, is they're only going after agents